Federico, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's get started. It's like 40 degrees now here, and not Fahrenheit. So if I pass out, it's just because of heat wave. I mean, maybe, but I'm okay for now, so don't worry. I'm okay. Welcome to another Kleros community call, March 5, 2025. And today we had this great news of the confirmation of Buenos Aires as the next host city for the Devconnect. So it's a huge news. Well, I mean, huge news. I mean, it is more than deserved, if you ask me, because we Argentinians are the world capital of crypto, and yeah, I think that this is the country in the world where we have more adoption of crypto for real life stuff. Paying contractors, receiving money as a contractor for people from other countries. We had so many different things and so many different problems with the currency and inflation and bad governance that we Argentinians became very early day adopter in crypto. Argentina is a country where you can maybe change money into a flower shop. You would ask, why would someone put a money changing business into a flower shop? Well, why not? It's as good as any other business to change money if you are in a country with a failed financial system. I'm not endorsing this, just to be clear, just saying that this is what happens, because when people need to make a living and the institutional framework is not great, so these things need to happen. So that said, I'm very happy that this is going to happen in Buenos Aires, and I'm looking forward to hosting some of the brilliant minds of Web3 in our city. Among them, William. Are you going to come, William, for the conference?
I mean, hopefully, let's see if we have a team meeting, but I always enjoy visiting Buenos Aires, so I enjoy visiting again.
We will check the Teatro Colón offering for that date, I'm sure, and if I can, I will take you to a football game too.
Sounds great.
Okay, well, let's get started. Jean, do you have anything to comment about the Devconnect in Buenos Aires? As you were part, I also was
Yes,
part a bit of the promotion campaign during Devcon in Thailand, and William too, by the way. There's a photo of William.
William too. Yeah,
I
we
mean,
all
he's
wore the
Argentinian. He
Argentina
doesn't know
jersey.
it yet.
Yes, it's only a matter of time. So yeah, I think it's pretty nice. I think you mentioned maybe some calls ago that there was some push for making it in 2018 or so, and then another one. No, actually, the one that went to Colombia, that one 2022, right? So
Yeah.
well, finally it's happening. And one nice thing about it is that, well, right now we have lots of cases that are happening in Argentina, like the lemon integration, the Mendoza, and I'm pretty sure that until November we will have even more cases. So that it will be nice to showcase it locally, right? And another nice thing is that we created a prediction market on Sphere about where the conference would be hosted. And so people that were following Sphere, they already kind of knew that it was very likely that it will be Buenos Aires. So that's nice too. And even in the video of the announcement, they included like an image of a prediction market with the number going up. So a reference to the prediction market we created.
The thing is that, and this is not to speak badly about prediction markets, but let's say that there is a prediction market odds of 90% happening in Buenos Aires, and then it doesn't happen in Buenos Aires. I mean, 1 out of 10 times, it's still correct that it wouldn't happen in that place, right? Because that's how probabilities work. It's just, so you could always say that, yeah, the market was still correct. What do you think of that, William?
I don't have a strong opinion. I mean, like that's true of many statistical models as well.
Yeah, but 90% it happens, so all good. We're happy. Okay. I'm here in Buenos Aires for a while now. I'm going to go to Mendoza tomorrow for a number of meetings and in connection to the work we are doing with the Supreme Court, some like what we could call protocol presentations, PR stuff. I mean, protocol not in the sense of Kleros protocol, more in the sense of PR, marketing and promotion. So I'm going to be there for a few days in Mendoza. Hopefully we can expand the work we are doing so for now we are just doing this in a particular municipality. So we want this to become so now that we saw this working and it's live, now we finished with the piloting phase, and now this is going, so Kleros is actually being used for resolving real life cases happening in Lavalle, which is the municipality in Mendoza where we are doing this work. Small claims court for neighborhood disputes, for consumer disputes. So it's not binding, it's consultative, but it's still important that this is an actual use case of Kleros, and not just Kleros. It's an actual use case of Web3 app for solving what lots of people perceive as real life or real world situations, right? Not just some internal financial application, which Kleros can also be used for in the Web3 ecosystem. But the fact that this provides a service to a non-crypto people and ecosystem, it's really important to show that Web3 can be used in settings that are like a real world. So we want to expand this. We already have a bunch of conversations going on with different provinces, municipalities from Argentina, in order to like replicate the type of work we are doing in Mendoza in those places. Of course, we will update you as we have news that we can share, and also from other countries. There are some public cases that are happening in the UAE, and we are discussing with them potentially an application of Kleros similar to the one in Mendoza. All of this, of course, takes a lot of time. There's lots of people to talk to. A lot of people need to be convinced that this is a good idea. Some of the talks that we begin in this setting end up happily. In others, some are lost in the funnel. But that's normal, a business development process. So it's good. So that is something that I am focusing a lot on these weeks during my stay in Argentina. As I said, I'm staying a few days in Mendoza, then back in Buenos Aires for a bunch of talks, conferences. There is a big conference called The Merge that is going to be taking place in a very nice place called Palacio Libertad, which used to be the the post office. And there's a Web3 conference on, let me see exactly the date. On 1 second, I'm checking this. Yeah, 24 and 26th of March 2025. Bunch of really cool speakers from I don't know, the director of the Argentinian Central Bank. There's going to be the president of the equivalent of the SEC of Argentina. People from the director of crypto from the Banco Santander. Actually, Gene, some people from the Banco Central do Brasil. Fabio Araújo, if you know him. So yeah, I mean, we're going to be. Do you know the guy, by the way?
No, I don't know him, but I know that Brazil is experimenting with some crypto stuff, and I think it's pretty nice that there will be this. It will be uh, a blockchain event, but for institutions
Yeah,
and
correct.
other companies, right?
Yeah, it's going to be uh, um, crypto event, but for an audience mostly of like mainstream people, which is great because this is what we want to expand from the point of view of Kleros enterprise. How can we make Kleros provide services to governments, to big companies? Uh, it could be actually a quite good opportunity for us to announce something that we want to announce soon. I cannot say what that is, but it's extremely relevant for the enterprise segment. So, but yeah, there's going to be people from El Salvador, uh, big banks, government. Yeah, so a really cool conference. So great that we got invited. Yeah, okay, so we have that. And then a bunch of other talks I'm going to be doing in for example, crecimiento, well, more like crypto communities. So yeah, that's cool. Um, yeah, okay, that is for me for the next few weeks here in Buenos Aires. But I will let William maybe give his update as well. Just go ahead.
Yeah. We've continued to do a lot of research on peer prediction techniques. I wrote a blog article about this, several months ago. This basic idea that we can repurpose some of the existing ideas from the peer prediction literature, which has a long tradition in incentivizing crowds and crowdsourcing platforms, to deal with sort of UX issues around deposit size. In our sort of approach, at least for V1 of Kleros, has always been that to disincentivize people from voting randomly, you calibrate the vote stake or the min stake that people can lose by voting incorrectly, so that voting randomly should have a negative expected value. However, this can lead to not amazing UX for risk averse participants if the cases are in the court are pretty predictable. Like if you have a subcourt where 98% of the time the same kind of party always wins. You have freelancer small business owner disputes, and the freelancer always wins. People can set up a bot to just vote for the freelancer, and how do you deal with that? So we've spent a lot of time thinking about it. I spent a lot of time thinking about how you can try to use a slightly different payoff system where people not only report the answer, but also how they like the percentage chance they think that other people will vote for the answer, to give the system a sort of gauge of how kind of hard the case is, how clear cut the case is, and then use that information so that people lose a larger percentage of their deposit if the case is really clear cut. So people voting lazily lose big deposits, whereas if you actually have a hard case and a well-intentioned person is likely to lose a deposit just because the case is really borderline, then the deposit you lose is less. So I've been thinking a lot about that. We're having a conference at King's College in a little over a month now, with researchers in a variety of fields of mechanism design and how they touch on decentralized justice. But particularly, we're going to have several peer production researchers there, so I'm particularly excited to discuss some of these ideas with them and get their feedback, encourage other people to think about them. But so I've been thinking a lot about that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really big deal. People, I mean, some of the best research scientists, in peer prediction, are going to participate in a conference to start a research community of something that we invented at Kleros, which is decentralized justice. For you to know, some of the participants. So there's going to be, so on the 24th is a main conference, and on the 23rd there's going to be an entree, let's say, of how to build a legal tech startup workshop I'm going to be facilitating. Both things are going to be done at King's College London, in beautiful room, meters away from Thames River. Uh, and so on the 23rd, as I said, a legal tech workshop for people who are trying to build legal tech companies, not just using Kleros, but also AI. We have done lots of research in connection with AI and how this interacts with Kleros. We are basically co-hosting all of this with the King's Artificial Intelligence Research Center. So this is, I mean, the people with whom we are doing this are people coming from the AI world. I mean, London is extremely relevant for the AI research. I mean, I don't want to say it's the world's capital, but that is the place where, you know, well, DeepMind was founded. You know, so it's an extremely important hub for AI. So we are partnering with King's College, the AI Center for Research at King's College for this conference. So some of the speakers we will have are, well, of course, I mean, the main dish is going to be William, because it's going to be mostly about the research he has been doing over the years. Then we will have Glenn Weil, well, from Microsoft Research and the Radical Exchange. So Glenn Weil is a inventor of the soulbound tokens alongside with, in this famous paper with Vitalik and Pooja Olaver. There's going to be Colin Rule, the guy who invented the dispute resolution system at eBay using crowdsourcing, and that was also implemented in PayPal. He's the godfather of dispute resolution, online dispute resolution. We are going to have Ian Cash, a number of professors from different universities, some from Oxford, some from University of Colorado. We will have Nathan Schneider, who has engaged a lot in governance, in blockchain discussions with Vitalik and also with William about the financialization of dispute resolution and the pros and the cons of systems based on financial incentives in resolving disputes. As you know, the pure version of Kleros was purely based on, non-identity accounts, anonymous accounts, and also pure economic incentives, which is perfect for some cases, but sometimes people want the jurors in their cases to, well, be from the same community where they live, or they want them to have some previous knowledge. They have to have some diploma that could be represented with some SBT. Actually, some of the most interesting use cases of Kleros in the world of enterprise or government, they do require jurors to be not doxed, because they don't need to verify, I mean, to say who they are in the real world, but yes, to have some verification that they belong to the community of Mendoza, for example, or they belong to the community of Arbitrum, or they belong to some specific community. And then this is why, well, Nathan Schneider, he was one of the main critics of this pure economic incentive approach that Kleros had in the very early days, which is still there, but there are other courses where we can have jurors selected through SVT tokens and all that. So this is, I really look forward to this conversation, because this is going to be a very interesting discussion about how Kleros interacts with the real world of law. So in that panel we will have Nathan Schneider, and also we'll have Sophie Nappert, who is an arbitrator, international arbitrator based in London. She's an arbitrator. She has been following Kleros for ages now, since the early days, and she's a person who arbitrates disputes like for billions of dollars, oil and gas, and well, she has some strong opinions about how this should be done and how can Kleros better adapt to well, these mechanisms in order to be at some point in the future, not now, but at some point maybe recognized as a valid arbitration method in these very high level disputes. So to be heard, we will have, well, of course, me going to be there, Carmen Wendt, who is the director of this center. So a bunch of very high level people who are going to research, or already are starting to research decentralized justice. So it's really for us an honor being able to engage with these people who, I mean, basically they are doing is they are teaching Kleros to their students, and this has not just, I mean, a direct effect on these people then wanting to work with us and apply to positions at Kleros, which is great because this is one of the top universities in the world for AI and for this type of research. But also, when you want to do enterprise use cases, when you speak to governments, when you speak to institutions, they feel comfortable seeing that the actor they are engaging with they has these partnerships with these institutions. So this is a partially also, if you want, a marketing way to a marketing angle. Okay, so we have that, and I'm not going to mention that much more about the Oxford agreement we have with to fund research about Kleros at the University of Oxford in computer science. We've mentioned that lots of time before, so I'm not going to go through that rabbit hole now. Okay. So, and then closing the thing about the conference. Okay, April 23 and 24. So if you want to come to the Legaltech building workshop on the 23rd, if you want to come to the conference on the 24th, if you want to come to both, it's you're welcome to come to both. I mean, I would strongly encourage that. So it's in person in London at King's College, and if you, I mean, it's free. I mean, just apply, but if you apply, do go because there are like limited places, and yeah, I mean, we want people to be able to profit from this opportunity. Okay, so and there's going to be a recording. So the 24th conference is going to be recorded, not streamed in real time because it was complicated, but yes, recorded and shared after the conference. Okay, we have that. Jean, what do you want to make an update? About community stuff.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things that have been going on is the front ends that Fortunato and Guamian have been experimenting with. As you might know, if you there are now AI tools that make it very easy to create a simple pages, and for some use cases of Kleros, it's not that hard to create a front end. And one of these use cases is the curation use cases, right? So one thing that happened last couple of weeks is that there was a big hack on the front end of a site, and an alternative, a way to kind of block this from happening will be to use immutable front ends hosted on IPFS and with a direction with an ENS. So the user it can be sure that they are visiting the right site. So one of the experiments that Guamian did is to create a front end for a list that we have of these types of front ends. And Fortunato is also experimenting for creating dedicated front ends for other use cases. And I think this is pretty nice because sometimes the curate interface is not the best interface for some use cases. So maybe they're good for submitting cases items, but not good for visualizing them. And even there is a Create V2 coming, but sometimes it's good to have like a dedicated front end, right? And I think there will probably more front ends, and it's interesting to imagine that in the future, anyone that can create a list can also create a an app that builds over this list, and it's they don't have to create Kleros from scratch. They can just use Kleros and use the code that we already have and customize the how to display this information.
Yeah, so it's in the long run. I mean, the vision is that people will be able to create the front end they like, and like you want a front end about football or about Tiki or about opera or about Lisbon or whatever. So you can just create it and you can plug it into the protocol. Imagine, I don't know, for example, an exchange that wants to have their users use Kleros, challenge in some curation application or become jurors, but they don't want the user to have to go to Kleros to do the work. I mean, they can potentially build a front end, and the user will interact with Kleros from their own front end, which could be hosted by Binance or Coinbase or whatever exchange. So that's the possibility, and the protocol should be as flexible as possible to accommodate all of these different types of front ends. You might be asking, how do you make sure that these front ends are not going to be malicious? Well, we got to cover, because imagine there is a curated list of front ends, and then only those who pass, the check of the community and of not being malicious, they can make it they get the certified front end badge. You might be asking, well, but what is the front end that we are going to use for making that certification? Anyone can do it or not? I don't have an answer for that. Do you have an answer for that, William?
I mean, not necessarily. Like ideally, like I agree that this vision of lots of front ends that can plug into the same smart contracts. If you have like a big infrastructure front end that has like less valuable for individuals to make, ideally you would have like some kind of open source community that would participate in making that.
There is this famous saying, I think there was this woman, I don't remember with who it was, people thought that the world was standing on a turtle, basically, right? And this woman was asking a guy, okay, if the world is on a turtle, what is the turtle standing on, right? And the guy answers, so, madam, it's like turtles all the way down. Yeah. So, but anyway, so the front end diversification thing is long-term vision. It's not going necessarily to happen soon, because there are lots of different things to solve before. Let us have one front end working correctly without having problems, that it crashes and then we can discuss, the multiple front ends. But it's something that in the long run should, at some point, happen. Well, besides this, we don't have a more comprehensive business development update today, because Marcos is on vacation, so he's learning some kite surf now. So he will come next week back and make a more comprehensive discussion about the business development situations we are doing with him. A lot of different conversations with different projects and different elements. I'm focused mostly these days on curation, but Marcos will tell you a bit more next week. Okay, anything else, Jean or William, I might be forgetting?
Yes, we had the certification and curation webinar last week. I think it went very well. And now I was thinking we could have OpenVino will release probably will release a front end for organic wines. And there was also an idea of curating dairy products by Dennis.
Yeah.
And maybe that will also need a front end, or maybe a generalized front end for products, for consumable products, right?
Yeah, that's a possibility. So and hopefully they will make some new front ends for that. And the workshop, the little webinar went very well. We presented a few use cases of Kleros for curation. One of them, OpenVino, about wine curation. Second one about the dairy industry. You can use Kleros to certify, dairy products, like cheese, milk, etc. Then we presented also a bit about our experience with token curation, and we spoke about Kleros Scout and how Kleros is being used to curate, Ethereum addresses, and not just Ethereum, in other chains as well. So it's a tool that can help secure in a transparent way lots of transactions happening in the Web3 and beyond also, because the approach that Mike has for OpenVino is not a Web3. The customers are like any winery that needs to certify their wine being organic. So yeah. And then there is other applications in cybersecurity and stuff like that I'm not going to go into now, so I don't take more time. But yeah, that you can watch basically the video, and we will start sharing it in parts. Now the stream is already live, so you can watch it if you want in full. Okay. Well, I guess that's it then for today. I don't know if you guys have any question to answer. Okay. Well, I guess thank you all for coming, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. See you.